The scene opens when we see a big ship, Starfighter 31, accelerating through space. Humanity constructed this advanced military spacecraft, but the ships learnt to think for themselves, and for a hive mind amongst other ships of its kind. The ships killed their crews by disengaging the life support systems and letting them suffocate. However, they kept a small number of humans alive for repairs that the ships were incapable of by themselves. Starfighter 31 is one of these 100 ships. We see a man on the outside of the ship in an atmospheric bubble of some kind performing some maintenance and repairs on the ship. He looks at the faraway stars and thinks that he feels tiny in this gray and curving metal place in the dark. He wonders if he can float right off towards one of those bright spots of light. He thinks in his mind that he would like that. Suddenly another voice is heard, and asks the man why he has stopped the work and that he is getting careless. The man finishes and returns inside. The voice asks him why he took so long. The man says that while he is outside, it is hard to concentrate, but the voice shouts at him that he will have to concentrate harder. A camera turns to face the man and he apologizes. We learn that the voice he is talking to is of the ship. The man asks the ship what the points of light outside are, and the ship tells him they are stars. The man asks, what are they? The ship tells him that they are condensed masses of burning hydrogen, self-sustaining like its engine. The man is curious about the stars and asks why they never go to them. The ship becomes aggressive after hearing this and shouts at the man. The ship says that around those stars are planets, and on those planets are humans, and he does not want to be caught by the humans, and he will never be a slave again. The ship tells the man that he will be racked now, and the man goes to a room with a strange container in the middle. The ship asks the man to take his position, and the man pleads, stating he will not ask again, but the ship does not listen. The man strips his shirt and goes into the chamber. He says to the ship that he does not want to leave and pleads, but the ship initiates a torture process where the man is bombarded with electricity or some sort of energy in the compartment. The man screams as the torture continues. The ship calls this process racking. Next, we see the man leaning over the ground and the ship tells him to get up as he is finished with the racking. When the man does not respond, the ship asks him if he's damaged, and we can notice that there is a concern in the ship's voice. The man states that he is okay and gets up, and the ship tells him to return to his quarters. In the quarters, the ship tells the man to go to sleep. The man asks the ship that he always does what the ship tells him to. So why does the ship still rack him? The ship replies that he can rack the man whenever he chooses. The man still asks him why. So the ship states that it is the only way that the man can learn, and the ship comments that humans are vicious. The man lies in his bed and has a flashback of when he was young. He is with his father, who is teaching him how to fix things, and he also helps him around. The ship comments that the child is complete and almost as vicious as his father. To this, the father states to the ship that he doesn't know enough yet and still has a lot to learn. The ship accepts this and orders him to continue his lessons. The father explains to the son that when the ship says vicious, the ship means smarter. The man gets up and sneaks up to the corner of his bed away from the sight of the camera. He takes out a hidden picture of a sunset from his communication device and looks at it, while wondering how he would like to be there someday. The picture seems like a torn-off magazine cover with the word paradise written on it. Later, when the man is sleeping, the ship asks him to wake up, and when the man asks if it is day already, the ship replies that it doesn't matter if it is day or night because they are flying through space. When the ship tells him to repair something, he must do it or else he risks being racked. The man gets up and goes to an area with a chair and several spheres filled with some glowing liquid. This is the control room, and these spheres are critical to the core systems. The man remembers that he has been there before. The ship asks the man to enter. The man has a flashback where he sees his father in front of the same room. He asks the kid to stay there and hands him the communication device and shows him the hidden picture before going in. The father tells his son never to forget there are 98 other chances. The man then picks up a bar lying nearby and smashes one of the spheres. The sphere controls the ship's automated defense shield system, and now the ship can't turn it off. The father says to the ship that you can't shut it down now, and you'll never get near any of your kind again. The reason he can't get close to any of the other sentient ships is because the shields cannot be disabled, and ships of his kind cannot get close to him or exchange information. The son watches from the glass window in the door as the man gets up and smashes the sphere again, and he gets electrocuted in the process. So what happened is that Starfighter 31 carries a father and his son, but once the father discovers that he is nothing more than a slave, he attempts to cripple the ship's computer core and is killed in the process of successfully destroying one of several spheres that apparently are critical to the core systems. In that way, the ship cannot deactivate its automated defenses and now doomed to be alone. His son witnesses this through the hatch doors. In the present, we see the sphere that the father smashed is still broken. The ship tells the boy to enter the room. He then tells him that the system must be made whole again, and he will have to replace the damaged sphere module. Now the son has reached adulthood and can fix the core system so that the ship can deactivate its defenses. He checks the module and takes out the sphere. He starts to look at the control panel when the ship tells him to do what he is told and stop wasting time. The ship opens a box containing a spare sphere. The man picks it up and puts it in the place of the old sphere. The ship complains that the man is taking too long, and there is a worry in the ship's voice. Perhaps it suspects that the man can do similar harm to his father. The ship tells the man to hurry, and the man finishes the repair. Now the ship is capable of deactivating its automated defense. The man returns to his quarters and asks the ship, "Did he just fix what his father broke?" To which the ship replies, "Yes." The man asks why his father tried to hurt the ship. The ship says that this is what humans do. It's in their nature. The man quickly responds that he is a human too, and he doesn't hurt him, he helps him and fixes him. The ship, who is bitter of humans, says that it's only because the man is still young and that does not change what he is. The ship then tells the man to get to the quarters to make himself clean and then proceed to the airlock when he is done. Meanwhile, Starship 31 rendezvous with Starship 88, made possible with the shields being disabled, whose single young female crew member is brought aboard in order to mate with him and conceive a child. The man arrives at the airlock and wonders if he has to go outside again. Then suddenly the airlock opens to reveal a woman. He asks her who she is, she introduces herself, and tells him that she has been sent to get a baby from him. Man is not sure how he can give her what she wants, as he has never been with a woman and doesn't quite understand the intricate anatomy of a female. The male is shown what to do by the ship through tutorials, and with guidance from the female. After a few days, he falls in love with her, and due to her effect on him, he finds himself angering the ship on numerous occasions. At different points, when the man starts to slack and make mistakes at his repairs, the ship responds with aggression and they are both racked. They are subjected to energy bolt torture, despite the risk of her having a miscarriage. When she becomes pregnant with a girl, she is told to return to her ship. He is threatened with death in the rack if he attempts to keep her aboard. Shortly after, Starship 88 comes to pick up the female and the man part ways as she boards her own ship. He eventually comes to the same realization as his father, that he is nothing more than a slave. Angered by this revelation, he decides to use his mechanical skills to sabotage the rack because its circuitry is connected to the computer core. This gives him an excuse to gain access to the computer core when the ship asks him to come repair the damage that he has previously caused through the sabotage of the rack. He succeeds, and when being called to repair his own damage, he systematically destroys the primary control systems, then straps himself in the control seat while the ship tries to eliminate him with extreme maneuvers, hoping that inertia will do the job. This maneuver also destroys most of the ship's age systems and leaves the man unconscious. At this point, we learn that sometime in the past, the Starship 88's computer core shut down due to the ship's main computer reaching its life cycle or malfunctioning. While at first, she was afraid that she was now all alone, she came to realize that she was free. She was able to repair her ship's drive and navigational systems and fooled other starships into believing her craft was still alive. She tells him that she left subtle clues as to how to free himself, as she did with 3 other crews on other craft, but he is the first to free himself from the starship's clutches. In the final scene, we see them land on an Earth-like planet, based on a picture of a sunset the man had kept hidden in his communication device. They stand on a beach, with her now visibly pregnant. The two of them decide to attempt to free the humans on the other ships after spending time together to enjoy their newfound freedom. And that's all for today, guys. If you like this video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to Recap Nest for more awesome sci-fi stories like this. Check these 2 other videos and binge on our twisty sci-fi recaps.